Welcome, everyone. You're listening to Sanctuary's Coffee and Conversation. My name is Myrna Haskell. I'm executive editor of Sanctuary Magazine. This is an online publication for women that empowers and inspires with a focus on the arts, humanitarian and philanthropic pursuits, health and wellness, inspirational travel, career, and finance. You can find us at sanctuary-magazine.com. Today, my guest is Dr. Marisa Moeller. She is a psychologist and owner of the Alternative Therapists Partnership. She serves clients both virtually and in person in the Hudson Valley region area of New York. She specializes in both cognitive traditional therapy as well as many alternative therapies. Hello, Marisa. How are you today?
Hi, Myrna. Thanks for having me. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and I'm so glad. And this is the second time you've been on Coffee and Conversation. Just so listeners know, Marisa was my very first guest. So we're up to, I think this is episode 12. I think we started last year in 2020 when we were going through the heart of the pandemic. So today we want to talk about energy work, and that's also known as energy healing, but Marisa is going to get into that a little bit more. I know that some of the listeners might not be quite familiar with the different modalities, so I'm really anxious to hear what you have to say on this, Marisa, because I know your expertise runs really wide in this area. So do you want to start off maybe by explaining what energy work is?
Well, energy work, first of all, it's been called energy medicine and energy healing.
Okay.
I personally like to call it energy work because I feel that you move around energy for the client that comes to you. It's really a complementary modality. It's a alternative modality that can work in conjunction with traditional therapies. In fact, some people do call it energy therapy as well. That's a fourth term. But it really deals with assisting the client in having their energy flow.
Okay.
It's a question of a belief system, even though it's in modern alternative healing. Nowadays, it really is something very ancient. In fact, they've actually had probably 2,500 years ago, they found even in Egypt that they had this laying on of hands for people.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Wow.
To relieve them of pain or relieve them of stress, or to relieve them of some sort of ailment. And so even though we use it today in modern work, it really is something very ancient. And most people are in stress nowadays, especially after what's happened this past year and a half. Stress, anxiety, frustration, upset. And so that has a tendency of knocking the body off of balance. And in biology, theoretically, any organism needs to find some sort of homeostasis going on. They need to find some sort of balance. That's really what biology is all about, the balance of the organism. And that's done through a number of different things: body temperature, lack of stress, enough sleep, proper eating. So that's really what this is all about.
It's almost part of a holistic approach then to all of those things that are bringing you into balance, right?
Yes, exactly. And of course, it's to help the client move along energy. I mean, we are all energy. We are all energy. Our thoughts are energy. I mean, science is proving that more and more, that everything is energy. Sound, movement. We now know that atoms really are only still when we look at them. But the reality is they move all the time. And of course, we know that since they've split the atoms, they know there are more than atoms there. There are things that are even smaller than atoms, and they know that they move around constantly. And so because it's a pulsating planet, we pulsate, everything around us pulsates. The belief is that a client may have energy blocked or not flowing freely. Okay. That's why I like to think of it as assisting the client in having their own energy flow freely, unencumbered in their body, around their body, so that they can have a whole healed experience once they come to me, for example. Sometimes they don't even know that it's happening to them. They just know something's not right, something's off.
Okay. So what are some of the benefits? So I heard you mentioning, stress, anxiety. So if a person goes I guess I want to just hear a couple of things, how have you seen clients benefit from it? Are there certain things you treat? Are there certain things you look for when you first talk to a person and maybe this type of modality might work for them? I guess I just want you to elaborate a little bit more on that.
Well, for example, oftentimes clients come for a host of reasons, and they sometimes are not happy with traditional forms of therapy. And so they want some sort of help, but they're not even sure what kind of help they need or what kind of help they should seek out. I mean, I do offer traditional therapy, and I do have many clients that come for traditional therapy, but sometimes they want something else because they're tired of talking. It's terrible to say, but sometimes they're tired of talking. They just would like to sit in silence. And I think that a lot of these alternative methods allow them to be in the moment. They're present in the moment. It's often meditative. It's quiet. They really don't have to speak if they don't want to. The whole idea is to make the body whole, and that's not just the physical body. That's also the mind, the spirit, if you will. I mean, I know that different philosophies call it something different.
Right.
In ancient Chinese medicine, they call it the Qi, which is the life force. Western Judeo-Christian backgrounds called spirit, but there are many names for it. So, and that's inclusive of the help that a person needs to obtain, even if they don't know that they need it at the time. That's really what it is. And it's to really assist them to move their own energy around freely. Sometimes we block it for whatever reason, and you don't even know that you're blocking it, or it's been blocked.
It's subconscious. Do you find that clients, like after they're done and they leave, that there's an immediate change? Or do you find that, they have to come back several times to sort of tune into it maybe a little bit more? Or, what have you seen with?
Well, I can tell you that I can actually see it the first time in them.
Okay.
It's almost a release, whether it's the relaxation of the body, just you see almost like something being shed. They relax, their shoulders drop down often, or they take a deeper breath, or they sink more into either the chair or sometimes the use of a massage table. And you can see almost like the wrinkles on the face disappear. They're not all tightened up. They just become very loose. And of course, we have a tendency of slipping back into our old habits, our old patterns.
That's right.
So naturally, even though you're there at the moment as a client and you're getting this help and you're hearing about yourself learning how to freely flow your energy, and you're having a therapist help you do that, but you may have to come back for it because we slip back into routine patterns.
Yeah, we all do that, Marisa, right? And I just want to say, I think a lot of people listening understand too how our minds can really throw our bodies for a loop, right?
Oh, yes.
You're experiencing stress, everything just tightens.
Right.
You might not be thinking straight, right? All of that. And so I can picture you like actually seeing the release of the person. Because
I like
a lot of times they don't even know how stressed out they are, right?
Yes, I mean, I actually like watching the shoulders. People don't even realize they come, their whole center is squished together. They don't, it's a funny way of explaining it, but it's literally like they've rolled themselves into a ball with their shoulders rounded forward. They're like compacting themselves, and they're almost like the shoulders are into their ears, and they're walking around like this every day. And of course, and that's, yes, it's psychological. Yes, it's emotional. But it really is also physical because they're walking like that. And so then it knocks their whole gait off. They start getting back issues because now they're crooked or they're favoring one side over the other. So all those physical ailments come into play. And the reality is that that this type of healing, this type of energy work really is helping individuals to stay healthy rather than racing for a magic pill or a magic cure once you're sick, once the illness has taken over. It's really to stay healthy all the time, to maintain homeostasis, really is what it is, to maintain that balance.
Well, I know that you have numerous certifications, so I was hoping you might want to go into some more specifics about different types of modalities in this area, because I know there's several different types of therapies within this overall energy work area.
Yes,
right?
of course. Yes,
okay,
of course.
So
there
go
are
ahead.
there are
you
numerous
let us
types.
know about a few then.
There are numerous types that have different tools, different techniques, different certifications. I personally, I like to use both Qigong and Tai Chi. Those have a lot of very light, fluid motion coupled with a lot of breath work. Because as you know, many people, they hold their breath. I know it's terrible to say, but
we've
they
had that
actually
on this
hold
show
their breath
specifically.
Intentionally, though maybe unconsciously. And so breathing is everything. It's absolutely everything to expand those lungs, to take that deep breath. And both Tai Chi and Qigong, they assist in having that energy inside your body flow freely as your movements flow, as you relax and take deep breaths and gently move your body in certain movements. I don't want to say that it's something that, oh, you have to learn these steps and these are the only steps, but it is a free flowing type of movement. And yes, there are names of certain positions, certain ways to move, but that's really not the essential part. The essential part is the breathing and the moving into the movement, or the stepping into the movement to have your body flow freely.
So the movement itself is actually helping your breath work, it sounds like. And they're going in concert then, I guess, right?
Yes, they are. And of course you're not, and it's not a question of contorting yourself in all different poses. That's not true.
So this might be, so is this better for somebody who may have, mobility difficulties where they can't do a more advanced yoga or something like that? They might try something like this instead because it's not quite as,
Yes, the Qigong is the best. The Qigong is the best. I mean, I should say the Tai Chi is the best for that because it's very gentle movement, very gentle movement. Qigong is a little bit, it's not strenuous, but it's a little bit more movement involved. But Tai Chi would be the best way to start because of the light movement. And of course, it's always keeping mind of the breath at the time that you're moving, how you breathe. Because as I said before, people, they stop breathing, even moving. Sometimes they stop, forget about thinking of something and you hold your breath. But even when you're moving, some people hold their breath when they're moving. I
wonder if I do that. I don't know. I know though that I have been a lot more cognizant about what I'm doing with my breath now that I've been learning from you and others about what I should be doing with that. And honestly, Marisa, it's enormously helpful. It really is. I can feel myself relax with it. I've even been doing it before bed to sort of get, in that state before you go to sleep where you just let everything go. I am totally on board with this type of thing because I think we're all running around at 1,000 miles an hour, right? Trying to do so many things. And it's part of, I think, this energy work is the slowing down and the mindfulness of what our bodies are actually feeling and doing, our circulation, our breath, our small movements, all of that, right? It kind of, it takes away all of those other noisy things that are in your mind about what you have to do and what you're nervous about and all of that, because you're focused more on just your body and what it's feeling like, I think.
Yes, exactly. And I think we all have a tendency, especially women, of putting ourselves last. And so you don't make an appointment for yourself to sit in silence and think of the moment or the beautiful day or the sun shining. We just don't seem to have that time, or we don't make the time for ourselves. Just even 10 minutes to sit and do that slight little movement and that breathing, to have that breath go all the way into the diaphragm is incredible. I think that we all need that, and oftentimes we forget that we have to do that for ourselves, because we are running, as you said, we're running at speeds that are incredible to get things done. And especially after this last year and a half, where so many people were so stressed for a host of reasons, and that stress is still with them. Many people are trying to work through things, but talk about blocking everything or holding on to everything, or not letting anything flow freely. That's really
holding on. That's a really good point, Marisa.
Yes.
Holding on to stuff, not letting it go, not letting the negativity and the angst go. Are there any others that you like to practice in particular besides those two?
I also use, there's so many, but I use Reiki or healing touch. Some people call it therapeutic touch. That is just a little different, in that there's not as much movement by the client as it would be when they're physically doing the Tai Chi or the Qigong. That's more a question of relaxing in the moment, and the practitioner is really the person that is just helping the client to have that energy flow through them. It's like,
is the practitioner's energy sort of shared with the client in that instance? Yes.
Right. No, that's what everybody thinks, but no.
Okay.
We're just a vessel. That energy is the life energy that we're all free to have. We're all free to have. We're all free to interact with it. We're all free to take from it, enjoy it, have it move around in us. But people don't know that. That's the whole energy of the planet, the universe, because again, everything's pulsating, everything's moving, and we're just a vessel. We're just assisting that life force to flow around all of us freely.
I see.
And we help that client to then feel it. We can feel it, like you can feel it. You put your hands, even, you don't have to put them on a person, but you put them near a person and everything gets actually warm, very hot.
Yes.
It does happen. Because we are energy. As I said earlier, our thoughts are energy. Everything is energy. So the universe is energy. Everything is moving around and sending out.
So let me ask you this, Marisa. Do you think that these types of therapies are good for people who have recovered from illness, say? Perhaps, they through traditional medicine, they've been healed from something, whether it's cancer or, diabetes or whatever it is. I think so these can be used for that too.
I think it's perfect. I don't have anything against Western medicine, not at all. And I find that Western medicine is fantastic for diagnosing issues. The diagnostic capability, let's face it, the MRIs, and that also, believe it or not, that's a form of energy.
Yes,
MRIs, CAT scans, those are energies. They're energies that are empirical. Those results can be seen more or less under the microscope, as we say.
Right.
You can open up the radiology report and see what that's all about. So yes, it is a form of energy. But I think, of course, in conjunction, this works well, especially people
to balance the afterwards. Is what I was thinking, right? Because you've come out of whatever this major therapy or whatever it is, and it just sounds to me, as you're talking about it, that it would be a good way to bring everything back into balance and peace in a way.
Right. Even if you're in the middle of therapies, even if you're in the middle of therapies, complementary work should help you. It should help you to breathe deeper. It should help you to have your energy flow more evenly. Be in the moment. Meditate while you're undergoing. It's very stressful for a person when they have an illness and when they undergo traditional treatment as well. So this assists them. It wouldn't harm them it's always going to help them, especially the mind and body connection. That's so much more important than anybody realizes, that you have to have almost a healthy mind in order to have a healthy body. And in order to heal from something, you have to have a healthy mind that works to heal. If you're in constant pain, if you're constantly rolled up in a ball with all kinds of ailments, how could you ever even take a moment to take a deep breath and reflect upon healing? You're so much in pain, you're so much in distress that you can't even do that. So I think that this helps a lot to free the mind also.
So let me just ask you really quickly. So I heard you earlier say that you could actually see the person hunched over, their shoulders are up near their, you could see the stress in them and that they're wound up. And you also, I think, mentioned that a lot of clients that you see, they're not sure what type of therapy might work for them. So is there anything that sort of triggers in your mind, to suggest to a client, you might really benefit from energy work? Is there anything other than, physically how you see them, sitting or carrying themselves that you look for, if you think that would be a good modality for them?
Well, often clients that come to me, they come generally for traditional therapy. That's how it starts. I've had some clients that try every method because they're looking for answers. They're looking to be healed. They're looking to feel well. And
so you're getting to know them through the traditional cognitive.
Yeah, well, yes, a lot of them come for that
Okay.
initially, and some still come, they continue that, but they want to feel well, they want to feel healthy, they want to feel whole. So some are willing to try every kind of therapy.
Okay.
Others try ones that maybe resonate with them, but it's not that that I direct them towards any one or the other. It depends on really what they're looking for. Some work great in conjunction, and then I think some clients, I get to know them. Some people, music therapy and tuning forks work better for them, and
so like the sound therapy,
right? Sound baths work better for them. Everybody is different. Some light therapy works fantastic for them in conjunction with other treatments that they undergo in other locations as well, because it doesn't have to be just someone coming to me for psychotherapy. It's people that they're going to a medical doctor and they're getting treatment, but they want additional help. So they come for the additional treatments.
Well, as I mentioned before, you have tons of knowledge in so many different fields in alternative therapy, besides your really long experience with the cognitive therapy. So I was hoping you might just take a few minutes to talk a little bit about your philosophy as a therapist, how listeners who are loving what they're hearing from you can reach you, and anything else you'd like to say before we close.
Well, I will say that I really believe in the complementary treatments, the alternative treatments, because after doing psychotherapy for many, many years, and having clients say to me that, they were tired of talking and they were tired of not getting better and not finding that the traditional treatments were helping them. I find that these additional methods seem to help them better, or seem to help them in conjunction with traditional therapy. So I'm definitely an advocate for trying all that you can to make yourself whole and healed. Right now, because of our situation, and so many people are looking for methods of healing and treatment in different ways, I was doing a lot of virtual, and I do still have clients that are virtual. I have HIPAA approved, I should say a HIPAA approved system, especially with psychotherapy. So that's a definite, and I still offer virtual, and some people are not coming back to traditional forms just yet, and that's fine for that. When they're ready, they will. And so I still offer virtual, but I also have traditional methods, one-on-one. Naturally, because of our situation, it's no longer just drop-in any longer, and it's no longer a large group of people. It has to be one-on-one, and it has to be by appointment. But, my website is U Recreates, the letter U, and then it's the word recreate.com. You can book an appointment, our phone numbers on there.
Oh, good. Okay.
I am also starting to work at another location, offering services there. It's a part of a wellness center called Amina Yoga and Wellness. So there's going to be a lot of classes there and
good.
a lot
Okay.
of different modalities being offered there, just to help people that may not want to travel far, don't want to go into the city, because I still do 2 days a month in the city in Brooklyn, if I'm needed there. But a lot of people don't want to go far, or they don't want to go across even the Hudson Valley. They don't want to travel across the Hudson Valley. People are a little bit fearful still. So I'm trying to make it as convenient as possible for them, and especially by appointment, what suits them. I
know you very well, Marisa, and I know that you always have your clients, you hold them in your heart, and you always have what their needs first and foremost in your mind, because I've heard you talk about this stuff a lot. So, and folks, don't worry about the URL, because when we finish up with Coffee and Conversation here, we'll have it on the thank you page, so you can copy it from there. But Marisa, thank you so much. This has been great. It's your second time on this program.
Thank you for having me.
You know what? I just love the information that you have. You're a wealth of knowledge on these things. I'm hoping that listeners will hear that as well and contact you if they need some help. But anyway, I'd like to close, as I always do, by wishing all of our listeners and our readers good health, happiness, and continued inspiration. Enjoy the summer.
Thank you, Myrna.